Greetings, programs, and welcome back to CK2. This might be a slightly shorter episode than normal, just because I've got something special in mind for the 2-year anniversary, as I've previously mentioned, and that's coming up quite soon now, actually. That's about a week away as of recording this, so hopefully the thing I have in mind will work out. Hopefully. But if not, well, I might think of something else to do instead. So, where we are at the moment, well, the last episode we had a quite successful expansion into England. We consolidated a bit and got control of one of the English duchies. I do have a couple of further claims I could press, but of course we're now, we're on a truce. We have a truce with England. But if they switch monarchs again at some point, of course we can just immediately, press those claims. Now, England is actually embroiled in a couple of wars right now. There is a civil war over the tyranny of Queen Saethrith, which is possibly going to be... I don't actually know what tyranny was, if they depose the monarch, or if they... I can't remember offhand, or if it lowers crown authority, or if it takes some land off them. I can't remember how tyranny wars work, but... They're also involved with a war against Scotland and a war against France. And France itself, well, I actually noticed Castile and France are both at war. Now, France is also in a war against the HRE. The HRE is pressing a de jure claim over... I can't even see which county it would be. Where's Santois? I don't know. Anyway, somewhere. But Castile is also pressing a claim on the throne of France itself. So the current Castilian king, this chap here, Louis II, is trying to once again unite the crowns of France and Castile, and I predict that if he does that, there's going to be much instability and civil war again, as there was the first time round. So yeah, we also still have, of course, I think I noted this last time, a Capet on the throne of Portugal, but they're going to be inherited by Jimena, so that is that's probably going to go back to being at least somewhat vaguely, yeah. But we've got a whole Carling thing going on right now, except with the Capets. So yeah, that's kind of funny. The other thing I've noticed at some point in the last episode, the whole eastern part of the HRE, not the HRE, the Byzantine Empire, got gobbled up by the Ilkhanate. So... yeah, we completely missed that. That all happened in the duration of the previous episode. Now, they've still got some holdings in Anatolia, but yeah, as you can see, they've lost quite a lot. And a lot of the people have just been sort of taken over wholesale. They haven't been replaced yet by the current Khan. So there's a lot of orthodox characters. So there might be some possible civil war over here as well, just because there's going to be these yeah, they're all not going to like their new liege very much. Foreigner infidel, and he's apparently zealous as well, so yeah, they're not going to like him at all. Otherwise, I don't think there's much else to report. No, I don't really think much else has changed that much. Yeah, no, I think that's it. There's some minor wars going on over here, and that's one of the ones that England's involved with, but I don't think they'll be pressing it too much. But, yeah, otherwise, everything is reasonably stable in Europe. Reasonably, having said, you know, if Castile, sort of Castile/France emerges as a massive power block, if they manage to become a stable power block, yeah, that could be an interesting counterpoint to the HRE, potentially. So as for my own plans, well, I have spotted there's an opportunity, a further opportunity here in Finland. Now, this province here, I think it's Hame, I think, that's how you pronounce it. That's not actually held by a Finnish character. Now, the reason I pressed the claim on Uusimaa with really no problems at all was because it was held by a Cuman character, and that's exactly the same for Hame as well. So if I go to war for that, they're not going to call in any neighbours, because all the neighbours are Finnish and are of the Suomensko faith, whereas this is a Cuman Catholic. So I'd need to fabricate a claim for that, though, and I think we'll actually start that going now. The other plan I have for this episode is if I can save up enough cash, which I should be able to, I'm going to start building a new holding in Dublin and give Moray to the Duke of Moray. I think he's just mad because, you know, I've got Moray and yet he's the Duke of Moray, and he's really, you know, it's bugging him. It's just really bugging him. So that will reduce his negative opinion of me by 25, I think, which will be useful because we still have that crown authority thing. Where are we? Dangerous factions. We still have this crown authority thing hanging over my head. And somebody actually pointed out in the comments of the last video, I never ever use the realm tree, and it's actually kind of useful because you can actually have a look at all of your vassals and all of their vassals, and it sorts them by power. And as you can see, I'm actually pretty powerful in comparison to my vassals. I've been making efforts to make sure that none of my dukes get especially overmighty. But the thing is, it doesn't take that many of them banding together before they can start to seriously challenge me. So by far, at the moment, the most powerful single duke is the Duke of Albany, who basically... they've got some fairly populous rich lands in the heartlands of Scotland here, so it's not unsurprising that that they are the most powerful one. And he's actually got he's got 2 of 4 held himself, and the other 2 are both vassals. But yeah, I think he's the one that has the most. Or well, no, actually, the Duke of Ulster also has 4. I think, yeah, Southern Ireland's a bit messy. Who was it that held Argyll? It's the Duke of Leinster. There we go. So he's got 3. The Welsh dukes have got 3 each. Oh yeah, the Duchess of Mercia, the newly minted Duchess of Mercia. She's got 4. Although it's, okay. For some reason, the Countess of Gloucester is actually a vassal of the Duke of Albany. Oh well, he's actually got 5 counties. That'll be why he's at the top of the list. I don't know how that's happened, but okay. But yeah, she's actually got 1 more potential county. We could get Shrewsbury for her at some point. We've got a de jure claim on that. She's actually, I can't remember. I think last time I said someone was gonna not be McJedi. It might have actually been the Countess of Gloucester because she's being inherited by a Buchanan, whereas the Duchess is being inherited by McJedi. So we've got a McJedi, another McJedi Duke, which is nice. Having dukes that come with their own land that can inherit, like the next probable king, is yeah, that's going to be all right. So yeah, Duke Svetislav. I was actually, talking of kings, and we haven't even paused yet, but talking of kings, I was looking at King Edinfed and thinking, he's got to be one of my more successful ones. Well, he's been reigning now for 22 years, as I worked it out. He's 61, and if we look at the crown history, we can actually see all of the previous McJedi kings. Now, nobody's come close to touching Yoda II's record, which is, he ruled from 1086 to 1146 and lived to the age of 67. Now that's unlikely to happen again because of Tanistry as our succession, having Tanistry as our succession laws, because we will tend to get slightly older kings. But still, 67 is a pretty good age, and if Edinfed lives a bit longer, he could possibly surpass that. The previous king, Richard, actually lived to 66, so he nearly beat that, but he didn't have quite so long a reign. He ruled from 1189 to 1213, so that's still pretty respectable. That's a, 24-year reign? So it's possible Edinfed could beat Richard. And it's funny, Richard the Great, he didn't have stats that good. But yeah, it's possible if Edinfed can live another couple of years, he will rank up there as one of our better kings. Although I think our best king ever so far is probably, just in terms of stats, it's probably been Colin II. Just because he had overall pretty damn good stats. I don't think we've had a better king than him. Certainly not in terms of martial score. Anyway, so there we go. There's the kings and 1 queen. The unfortunate Queen Effa, whom we murdered. Anyway, it's fine. The Kings and Queens of Scotland, or Alba as it is at the moment. So let's unpause and bring this army north. See what happens. The next thing that probably will happen, if it's going to happen, will be to do with Crown Authority. Oh, here we go. The newish queen that we married in the last episode. She's now pregnant, so that's nice. More McJedis! McJedis everywhere. Right, that's retinue troops, so that's fine. We should make sure they have generals, actually, just in case we get into a fight. I could start fights. You can do things like this. I could start fights and then put all my troublesome dukes in charge and hope that they get killed. I actually I sort of realised this in the last episode. I didn't say anything, but when the thing with Robert of Leinster, like he got away with his life, but he encountered trouble with a local noble, because it can have negative consequences if somebody objects to what the spy master's doing. An event can fire and they can get injured or even killed. So you could, if you had somebody that was plotting against you, you could send them somewhere and hope that a negative event fires and that they get killed or hurt in the process. We do want to move him, by the way, or not move him, but change to scheme, but we can't do that till September, because of course I goofed and picked build spy network instead of scheme. I picked the wrong thing. So anyway, so there's a bunch of Tanistry messages. I think Tanistry is exactly the same. It would be really nice to recreate Ireland, because if I look at Diplo Relations, is it Diplo Relations or is it Revolt Risk? Opinions? There we go. Opinions is probably what I want. My vassals are largely happy with me, but the bulk of the discontent is in Ireland, and taking that crown away, destroying that crown, did not help at all. And it was for political reasons, and it was gamey. Gamey as all hell, but it didn't come without its own negative consequences. That's part of the blowback. Right, so those messages there. Child needs guardian. Let's see. This is Yoda McJedi, my grandson. Let's get him. Let's try and get him a fake Scottish guardian. Gilpatrick, who's my nephew and will hopefully, yeah, he gets a reputation bonus. And if you can do that, if you can send somebody to as a ward to somebody, actually they've changed that quite a lot. I think Conclave in the most recent or the most recent patch anyway, it now works rather differently, because for the longest time, I mean, with this version of the game, it's definitely true. Who you place a child with, it will have an effect on not only the traits that they can get, but obviously also their stats as well. And I think they've decoupled some of those mechanisms. I don't think traits have an effect anymore, or they're not. There's no chance of a guardian passing down traits to a child in the same way. Right, so we have Brechan Ap Edin Fed. So there we go. Welsh, obviously, rather than a Jedi name. How's the cash doing? 753. Right, we're actually now... We have enough money to start building a holding in Dublin. And I think we will do it in... Or should we do it in Northumberland? Northumberland might be better, actually, because it's closer to England, basically, if I can raise more troops from Northumberland. So we'll build a castle holding. We will reassign our... Oh, he's not even assigned anyway yet. Oversee construction. Now, the nice thing about oversee construction is it not only counts for stuff that you're building in holdings, but it also counts for building new holdings as well. And you can actually get quite a... You can actually... We can mouse over and see minus 35%. So that is... that's going to accelerate the building of this new holding quite considerably. That's jumped by over a year. There we go. It's gone from 1238 to 1237. So that's, well, it's not over a year, it's probably less than a year, but that's at least, what, 8-9 months shaved off the construction time? So it's really worth doing. Absolutely. If you're building a new holding, assign your steward. Right, there's a... okay, this is a Spy Master event. There's a rumour here in Ulster one of the local nobles might be corrupt. Handled wisely, this information might be used to implicate one of your enemies. Shall we go with use it as you see fit, and we'll see what happens. Prince Uzziah of Connor decided not to risk upsetting his vassals, even though he's a barony level bishop, but okay, and confessed the allegations of corruption. It will take some time before his prestige recovers, and I have with me the fine I collected, 50 gold. Nice. So you can actually, you can assign your spy master and hope to collect gold, which is quite nice. Right, he's now, okay, there we go, we can reassign him to scheme rather than the other thing. So hopefully what we want is vassal discouraged from joining factions. Now I don't know what effect this has on people who are already in factions. We've actually had somebody that's dropped out of the Lower Crown Authority faction actually, which is quite nice. That's gone down from 70% to 48%, so the threat has imminently receded. But the Duke of Ulster himself is still one of those. Duke Sardia of Ulster, who's an Ashkenazi. Okay then. I don't... Yeah, we've ended up with the most... This is one of the most multicultural realms I have ever had in a game of CK2. I'm not even kidding. I don't know how it's ended up quite like this, but we've got Norwegians and Poles and Scots, fake Scots, Welsh, we've got Irish, we've got... we've had, yeah, all kinds of people. It's just ridiculous. Right, what event is this? Hold a grand tournament. Do I want to hold a grand tournament? We never have. King of Dinfed never has. He gets a boatload of prestige from it, but it's expensive, 200 gold. Financially, we're doing really well. But the thing is, if I spend this money now, and then this claim pops up, we'll hold on to the cash. If we get another, say, 100 gold out of that, then that's worth doing. Hello, King of Norway wants Af Ognear. Actually, we've got a vassal that's Af Ognear. Yes, he's of royal descent. We've actually got... they're doing alright. 30 living members. We've been going a while. Not as good as the McJedi's, though. We've got 40-something. We've got quite a large clan. 45. Anyway, she's unmarried. Stats not terrible, but not great, so I think we're absolutely fine with that. That's one of the nice things actually about Conclave. One of the good changes, or was it even in the patch? I can't remember. It was either the patch or the DLC. But you can now explicitly make treaties with people, and that kind of, I mean, it's sort of sealing treaties and doing it through marriage was a big part of diplomacy of the period. But there were treaties that were made, you know, that were just between kings that weren't done that way. And it's now possible to have that in the game. Now, it would be... oh, here we go. Spy Master message. The Count Tirkenel seeks to fabricate a claim on the Duchy of Ulster. Well, that doesn't really concern me that much. Will concern the Duchy of Ulster, though. But yeah, so you can now have treaties that are made independently of actually having someone available to marry. But I expect if you use marriages at the same time as well, you can increase opinion between different kingdoms or different rulers. There are some things in the patch that I just don't like, though. The whole concept of infamy, I think that's rubbed people up a long way. It's rubbed people up a long way. What? It's rubbed people up the wrong way. And I personally don't like that as an idea in the game. The whole concept of personal diplomacy works fine already, and the fact that they've slapped this infamy thing on top of it. And I think they've just done it as a bodge to get the whole coalition mechanic to work, and it's ended up kind of backfiring because it's based on the diplomacy range, and the diplomacy range in this game is it's huge. So you can end up with coalitions that are geographically massively far flung, which make absolutely no sense whatsoever. So it was a bit of a lazy thing to base it on the diplomacy range. And it's backfired on them quite spectacularly. Right, that's actually shot back up again. So the Duke of Albany, for some reason, has rejoined that faction. Can't do much about it. I think he was the one that left the faction temporarily. He's now rejoined it, so I don't know why. Right, we've got another scion of... hello, what? Heir to the kingdom of... What? Heir to the kingdom of France. What? Hello, what? Okay, the current king of France, Thibaut II of France, matrilineally... How have I never noticed that was a matrilineal marriage? How have I never noticed that it was... Apparently I haven't. I kind of hope he wins that civil war now. Are they still at war with Castile? Yes. Wow. What? Okay. France could be ruled by a McJedi. Wouldn't that be so amazing if we could bring France in through inheritance? He's actually in my court as well. Oh, which means I can arrange the marriage. Okay. This presents opportunities. Hello. Right, we want to marry him to somebody with a high stewardship and a decent marshal, I think. She actually looks pretty good. Aragonta, Princess of Navarra. She's got really high stewardship and she's also got very good marshal. Her learning's not bad. Her diplomacy's not so great though, but yeah, she's probably the one to go for. It doesn't give me an alliance, but yeah. No, anyway, wow, hello. Now, if we could engineer his succession through the Tanistry laws... So this is my grandson, but the thing is he doesn't have any land. We'd have to give him a duchy or something. The thing is though, if he did inherit France, that duchy would then become part of France. So I don't know if it's possible to nominate a foreign ruler, even if they're of the same family, through Tanistry. Is that possible? Do they have to be in your realm? I might have to look up Tanistry laws. There could be a great opportunity here. That's utterly unexpected. That could be incredible. I mean, it would only be about half of France, because Aquitaine, of course, that crown's held by the Castilian king. But still, that's yeah, that's interesting. That's really interesting. We could recreate the old alliance, except in a completely different way. Anyway, yes, a McJedi on the throne of France. Suck it, caption guy. Absolutely suck it. Right, anyway. Oh, hello, here's an event, okay. I was touring the defences of Insegor, and as I tried to enter one of the towers, I got stuck in the doorway. I found myself unable to move in either direction, and it took the strength of 4 men to pull me free. Well, he is King Idinfed the Fat. We've got the chance to lose the gluttonous trait, which would actually be a good one. Or we can expand all the doorways. Let's try for the chance of removing gluttonous. So we've got 55% chance, 55% chance of no effect, 25% chance of becoming depressed, 20% chance of losing gluttonous, and we got no effect. So never mind. So we tried to go on a diet and it didn't work, basically. It tried to join medieval Weight Watchers, and it didn't go according to plan, because Weight Watchers sucks! Yes, anyway, never mind. What is the final build date for that anyway? 1237, so we've still got about... Actually, no, that's less than half a year at this point, so that's pretty close, actually, to building. We've got about a 15% chance. Whoa, here we go. Okay, 15% chance a year of that happening. But what has happened is the inevitable. Yeah, I thought this might. So they actually got somebody else into the faction, I think. Or did they? No, they didn't. Okay. 80% of my strength. So we do have an advantage. Where are we? I've got 6,700. I've got my 5,000. So just between my personal levies and my retinue, I've got over 10,000 troops. I'll also have a couple of thousand available to be raised from my vassals. But I'm going to go with I will not be blackmailed. We're going to fight. We're going to fight this one out. And there we go, civil war. So that's big parts of Ireland, and it does mean my troops in Dublin are actually kind of cut off. So we're going to immediately embark army. We'll just nice personal levy. So we'll consolidate them. These guys. Right, we've got enough boats to get them off. That's fine. So we're going to bring them to Moray. We're going to bring them to, I guess, where's the closest, the quickest way to, I'll just have to sail all the way around there, it'll be fine. So bringing the troops together won't be a problem. Right, who is the actual, it's the Duke of Leinster. So we basically need to march our troops down through here. Why Ulster Carrick, army of... Oh right, okay, yeah, that's they've raised their own armies, I think. The Republic of Dumfries. Republic of Dumfries is doing alright, by the way. They are... Oh, I actually have to put them on the boats. In terms of trade zones and everything, as you can see, most of the Irish Sea. I think it's really expanded since last time, but if you look on the economic map, you can actually see these Irish... It's not that clear, maybe, but these coastal provinces, where you've got the trade posts, they're actually doing pretty well. Right, we've also... Okay, we should actually sort out a new spy master, because the spy master is one of the ones that defected. The Bishop of Carlisle, we could make... the Mayor of Penrith, or the well, just a random courtier, but he wants it, so he would actually bump up to 13, and we could actually give him an honorary title, which will make him like me a bit more. So he can be Keeper of the Swans. Chancellor, Chaplain, we could give the Chaplain an honorary title of some kind. High Almoner. Because I think some of the rebels had these titles, and then so obviously they lose them when they rebel, and we'll make him Master of the Hunt. So we'll just sort out this educate child, and he's fake Scottish already. Drystan McJedi. Right. We could... Oh, that's like spouse. That's the wrong thing. Educate child. Right. If we pack him off to a duke, he's only got 2 years left, so if we pack him off to a duke, it'll... yeah, we go. Increase by 20. So it's not going to have a massive effect on his education. Large bands of rebels, I don't like the sound of that. Right. Get the troops all in. So we're going to lose a bit of cash. We can actually stand down that fleet. We haven't raised any vassal levies. We'll see what we've got left. We lost about a third, but we've still got 6,000 available. So we won't raise them just yet, because I think my army should be big enough on its own. I grow more and more impatient with Chancellor Svetoslav. His slothfulness makes him go to extreme lengths to avoid having to do any actual work. We'll give him a stern talking to. He's actually got slothful. If we can get rid of slothful, because he's the Tannist, that would be really nice. Of course, it could backfire as well. No, minus 25%. Okay. Never mind. My nephew Odin, he's the one... No, he's a different Gilpatrick. He wants a fief of his own. I could give him the barony of Dagobah, but we can't really... He's not important at all. It's just he's got the ambition of gain a title, so that's why he's asking. He's not even remotely important. He does have... Well, mind you, having said that, he does have some claims on... let's see... Apparently he's got claims on... Because he's my grandson, I suppose. Nephew, rather. Yeah, it's just if he goes to somebody else's court, they could press a claim. But that hasn't happened yet, so we're going to just... We're going to say I told him he's not ready. Because he's not a really important character. Right, we're losing trade posts, that doesn't really matter. Here's my army of 11,000. We'll make sure we've got good generals. We're not going to... Well, actually, not risk having Idin fed. And we'll not risk... Emery is really powerful, but because he's the heir to the Kingdom of France, we're not going to risk his life at all. So we'll get Count of Westmoreland and Duke of Moray. Okay, no, I think we're fine there, generals-wise. And let's go start kicking some butts. So we'll start off with this army here. We're not going to stick around and siege these provinces. We're going to go for Leinster. We'll actually siege that province, though, because obviously that is owned by the Duke of Leinster. And he is the faction leader, the war leader, basically, for the rebels. So we really shouldn't have a problem absolutely just crushing these people. And that should give me some nice war score right off the bat, because battles are always worth quite a lot of war score. In fact, we can probably win this entirely through battles. So there we go, 18% war score already. We'll march through to Argyll. And, okay, yeah, because she's the vassal of this guy. She's going to technically be rebelling. So yeah, this is just a matter of... I don't think we even have to spend time sieging that much. We just keep kicking their butts in battles, because they haven't really had a time to consolidate the forces that much. Although, oh, that's a nasty army. Having said that, we might want to raise... let's see, the Duke of Lothian's forces. And that's an extra 1,000. We could get Moray as well. So we'll raise them and get some extra troops, basically. So we'll also march them through to Dublin. And that should be sufficient. That should be sufficient. I don't think they get any massive defensive bonus in Ossory. Right, Castle's finished construction in Northumberland, which is fantastic. Okay. So what I can do... well, actually, no, I can't just now because I've got the troops raised and it would affect my troop numbers, basically. Oh, actually, if we can catch that army. That'd be nice. Oh. Right. Town stream messages, not very important. A local friar has petitioned you to donate your family relic to the church. After all, he says it isn't right that one man should hold what belongs to all Christians. I will donate it discreetly. I can get humble, which is very nice for piety. I can prepare a grand ceremony and get 30 prestige, but we don't really need that. But I do get a church vassal opinion bump of 25 across the board. But I don't really have that many... Should we go with that one? Plus 30 piety, plus 30 prestige. Bit of pomp and ceremony, why not? Humble would be useful if it was a younger character, because having the humble trait would build up piety over time. But he's 63 at this point, so a younger character he is not. Okay, we might get the Duke of... Duke of... Munster, there we go. I had to see which one that was. We might get his forces raised as well. Not that he has a lot of forces available to be raised. But, you know, a little bit here and a little bit there, and it all adds up to quite big armies before you know it. So we're sitting on 24% war score right now. This is their main army. We beat that. That's going to be easily another 20-30% war score, maybe even more. Of course, if we lose that, then life gets a little bit more complicated. But the more vassal levies I raise up, it obviously then has a... It takes a while. There's a cooldown, because you have your vassal levies raised over a certain amount of time, and it starts to affect your opinion. Right, typhus. Oh, typhus is broken out. That's not good. In Berwick, did that say? Yeah, we do not need a wave of disease right now, but it's there's not a lot you can do about it. So we've got our Grand Army, led by, well, we've got some pretty good generals there. We've got a clear 2,000 man advantage. They don't have a terrain advantage, I don't think. No, we're just fighting on flat ground, so I'll actually slow this down. So this is it. This is actually a pretty... These are two pretty big armies fighting each other for the period. 13,000 versus nearly 11,000. And we are, I think, winning this fairly easily. Their generals are not nearly as good as mine. They've got one with 11, one with 3, and one with 6 martial skill. Oh, Duke Robert of Leinster died in battle. Okay. Well, that's one less troublesome Duke. Who's he being replaced by? Duke Giric III, who desires the Duchy of the Isles. Well, he has got a bit of... I don't know how that happened even. I can't even remember. I can't cast my mind back that far to think how he got the County of Argyll, but he did. And that's why he now desires that duchy. I could just give it to him, but then he'll be mad that he doesn't have the Western Isles in Segal, which of course is my primary holding. Well, actually sieging that, the cheeky buggers. Not that it matters. Right, here we go. Godfrey Macduff, who is, oh yes, he's a son or a brother or something. We'll see if we can ransom him. So that was a really bruising fight. For look at that, they lost 8,600 troops. That's incredibly bruising. Like we've just completely broken their back now. We lost 2,000 troops, but still, they're done for at this point. Absolutely done for. So we'll march in, and we can actually just finish that army off. That was a crushing defeat for them. Absolutely crushing. So this was absolutely worth fighting this out then, as it turned out. Because it's gonna make things a bit more stable for a while. It's gonna cement my hold on the crown, on Ireland, and on my vassals generally. I think I've done a reasonably good job of not letting any one vassal become too tough, or too strong. There we go. I just dropped in a random synonym. Would that be a synonym? I'm not sure. I forget. Word that's like another word. Yes. Except it's one of these words where the context matters a bit, so... Anyway. I could bring in allies, but there's no point. I honestly, I don't know how I didn't notice that was a matrilineal marriage. I don't know how I didn't notice that. Anyway, but Jedi's in France. That's just... OP. Oh, right, they've run away to Ross, but that's fine. This is going to be across a sea crossing, but this is... They're going to get crushed. This is a completely mismatched armies. We're not going to have any trouble. So even though they've got a defensive advantage, no, we're just going to squash them like bugs. We're going to squash them like the bugs they are. Well, they're not really bugs. They're just... I don't know why they've decided to be rebellious, to be quite honest. Medium Crown Authority is not even that tough, not that high. I'd like it to be High Crown Authority. That itself, maybe trying to press for High Crown Authority after the conclusion of this civil war. Maybe that would be a really good time to do it, because I'm going to have the vassals that like me the least. Oh, here we go. So we've got this claim. They are going to not be in a position to do anything about it. Right, so I'm going to get a strong claim on Hame. And it won't be one that I can inherit, I don't think. Won't be inherited unless pressed in a war. So actually, our very next step is probably going to be doing that. But that will be the next episode because we're getting on for time. So we'll conclude this war, basically. And then we'll get on with it. So we'll actually... It's going to be costly, but we'll probably just try and force this sieging. Force this sieging? Force this... siege. Just because we've got such a big army. And it is costly in terms of manpower, but we've got such high war score that we don't need a lot more. That's 96%. Watch them in there. Thrash that army. Where are you marching to? 97%. Alright, let's siege Fife. Which has 1,200 defenders. I mean, these sieges would go relatively quickly with an army of this size anyway, but we can basically burn manpower. Oh! The Tanis died. Oh, was he the Tanis? Was that? Yeah, no, that was him, wasn't it? Yeah. Duke of Dehubath. So we've got Duke Christin, or Kristin. I'm not sure how you'd say that. Polish. He's Polish. So, okay, that also complicates things. So, he's picked up the votes. He's picked up a couple of votes for Mace of Munster. If I nominate him for both, we should be able to lock in his nomination. Right, we also need a new Chancellor. Anyone that wants to be Chancellor? Yes, but they don't have quite the skill. We'll go with this Jewish character, Asher, who probably turned up through an event. And we need to find an educator for Dreistan here. Probably not Asher, because he's possessed. We'll pack him off to... Well, his martial score's pretty terrible, though. Emrys. We'll get Emrys, because that's a plus 20% opinion bump. Right. Anyway, right, we've won this war. Enforced demands. So we've got a bunch of dukes in the clap right now. In the clap. Clapped in irons. Wow. Well, referencing the clap, that's an entirely different thing. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, yeah, we've clapped them in chains, and this might be actually a really good time to try and press through. We've got medium crown authority in Wales, so if I press high crown authority, in theory, we should be able to press that through. Maybe. Let's have a quick look at factions. We've got one faction going at the moment for... No, okay, that's fine. Right. We probably will just ransom these people because, you know, the cash is useful. But otherwise... I think that's it for this episode. I think this is a really good place to wrap up. So we've successfully dealt with that civil war. And having said successfully dealt with the civil war, it looks like Queen Saethrith successfully dealt with her civil war as well. We'll have a quick look around the map to see how things are going between France and let's see, in Castile. And I can see there that France is losing 61% war score in favour of King Louis of Castile. So even though we have a McJedi as the heir to France, they might not have a France to go to, basically. Castile might take that, at which point we would maybe have a claim on France, but I don't think we'd be strong enough to take on a combined force of Castile and France. Oh, there we go. Also, rebellions in Anatolia, which is not at all unexpected. The Golden Horde's actually taken that particular chunk of land off the Ilkhanate, so they have not held on to that at all, which means these counts, this particular bit of civil war might well be successful. We shall see. Otherwise, yeah, I guess next episode we'll just be expanding into Finland then, so we know what we're going to be doing. And in the meantime, I should be retiring to my holiday villa on the banks of the Volga River. Still haven't figured that out. Still absolutely have not figured that out. Tried posting on the Paradox, or was it the Paradox subreddit or the CK2 subreddit? I can't remember. I tried posting, figuring maybe somebody would be able to give some clue. But the most I can figure out is there's some kind of Finnish connection. And how the hell there's a Finnish connection with... It still makes no sense, but it makes slightly more sense than, you know, that connection over there. But I can't make head nor tails of it. I don't know how that happened. So hopefully you've enjoyed this episode, and if you have, you can leave any comments below, you can hit the like button, you can sub to my channel, and as always, stay tuned for more.